All right, guys. So today I want to talk about some of these sun and moon sets because they're on the move, and I don't really see too many people talking about this right now. And I think it's kind of an important conversation to have. We're also going to relate this to just the overall market right now and what could potentially happen if we see a pullback in popularity or we see massive reprints. So first things first. And there are a lot of sets moving from Sun and Moon, but we're just going to look at a couple: Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, Cosmic Eclipse. You can look at basically any of them. A lot of them are starting to move now. And if you look at TCG Player Unbroken Bonds, you do have a sale up here at 1750. And then, that's really the only recent one over the past like month or 2 months. If you go to eBay and you look at Unbroken Bonds, the lowest listed box right now is $1,400 Canadian plus $50 shipping. And then after that, it jumps up to about $1,700 Canadian. So when you go in here, 1450 Canadian is a little over $1,000 USD. And then if you look at like 1600, you're 1100 USD, 1700, almost 1200 USD. So this box is starting to move from that $900 range. Unified Minds, this is even like a larger move, right? So this one was around $850, $900. A lot of recent sales actually, 1500, 1500, 1300, 15, and then 1450. So this one is consistently moving up. Again, if you go to eBay, lowest listed box right now is 1925 Canadian. So if we put that in here into the convert 1345, 1350 USD, lowest listed on eBay. Again, that's before tax. Cosmic Eclipse, even more, right? Over 1200 apparently, but recent sales $1,800 and $1,600. When you go to eBay, lowest listed is about 2850 US or Canadian. 2850 Canadian is almost $2,000 USD. That is the lowest listed box of Cosmic Eclipse on the open market, I guess. Probably, maybe there's some cheaper ones on Facebook or something like that, but on eBay, that is the cheapest box right now. And normally, if I make content about Sun and Moon era, about even like the tag team sets, like Unbroken Bonds, Team Up, Unified Minds, Cosmic, even those types of videos don't tend to do super well, but I think it's important to notice this and realize what's happening, because it does seem like people are, either trying to make plays, but also just hedge against uncertainty in the market by going back to some of these older sets from Sun and Moon era. Same thing with XY era. Like a lot of that stuff is getting more expensive as well. And maybe that's just because some supply is drying up also. It's probably a combination of both. But the second thing I wanted to talk about in this video is when we look at sets from the Scarlet Violet era, I guess we could start there. I won't really be bringing any up in this video, but if there is a crash in the market, when we look at the sets that are most likely to see a pullback, it's going to be a lot of these newer SV era sets like Paradox Rift, your Temporal Forces, Stellar Crown, these sort of sets, right, that aren't super old. And to kind of explain this better, when we looked at the last crash, right, because I kind of brought this up in yesterday's video, and I want to go more in depth today. Late 2021, like around November 2021, early 2022, that's when we saw a lot of crashes in Sword and Shield booster boxes like Crowns, or not Crowns, yeah, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, Battle Styles, Vivid Voltage, all of these types of sets saw, fairly large pullbacks. And for a lot of them, like Battle Styles, it took a very long time for them to rebound. I did point out, though, in that video that, the best sets rebound the fastest, right? But during that time period, if you look at Sun and Moon era, there weren't huge pullbacks, right? So something like Lost Thunder, maybe it was around $500, say. It came down to around $400, so about a 20% pullback. But it didn't take too long, right? Towards the end of 2025, or 2022 rather, guys. I'm getting my dates all mixed up. Towards, the middle to end of 2022, so like 8 months later, it was already back over $500 again. It's just been steadily climbing. And you can go through every Sun and Moon era set. Forbidden Light, $511 again before the crash, came back down to, this one actually came down to around $330 apparently. There was probably some sales around there, but maybe $350-ish. And then let's see, towards the end of 2022, you're already back up to $450. This one probably took a little bit longer to eventually get over $500 again, maybe a year, 10 months, something like that. But the better sets, right, like Celestial Storm, 560, came down to around 460, and then within, few months, right, 6 months, half a year, something like that, was already back up. Team Up, same sort of thing. You're up to around 1100, came down to 800. So that was a fairly big crash, but percentage-wise, it's not as big of a correction. And then within, 4 months, it was already back up to its all-time high. And since then, it's just continued to climb. You go through all of them: Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, Cosmic Eclipse, even Ultra Prism, right? Like Ultra Prism hardly saw a pullback. You had a couple weird sales, and again, Pokedata sometimes has some interesting points that it brings up for data wise. And yeah, I mean, outside of that, guys, like really all I'm trying to say is these booster boxes from the previous era during the last crash really weren't affected too much. Maybe a 20% pullback that recovered basically within, 6 to 12 months, 6 months, 4 to 6 months, I'd say for the best sets like Team Up, or not Celestial Storm, Cosmic Eclipse. Celestial Storm was pretty fast too. And then maybe like 12 months for some of the lower tier sets like Lost Thunder and Forbidden Light. And right now, as we're seeing more money flow back into Sun and Moon, and we're seeing these, kind of buyouts, but also just people, buying up the cheaper product on the market for some of these tag team sets, I would not be surprised if we see people go back, even just to Sword and Shield right now. And I know that a lot of these boxes are recovering and getting close to all-time highs. Things like Silver Tempest, Astral Radiance, they're already breaking through their all-time highs. But I would not be surprised even over the next like 3 to 6 months, especially if this market continues, if people start buying these boxes up again. Not just because if SVR boxes continue to go, that it's going to seem like a good deal for this, but also just because we're not going to be getting more of these. And I think people understand that if we do see a pullback in the market eventually, these types of sets, especially the stronger ones like your Fusion Strike, like your Evolving Skies, your Lost Origin, these are going to hold up very well, right? And putting your money into these sets, you're going to feel quite secure about that. Even specialty sets, right? Like Crown Zenith just seems like an absolute no-brainer, especially if you can buy ETBs. Still in that like $100 to $110 range. I think that's a really good deal. I'm sure 151, sure. But again, that's still a newer set. It could potentially be reprinted more. We're not even at the 2-year mark for 151. So something like Lost Origin that's like 3 years old or pushing 4 years for some of these sets, like Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, etc. These just seem like better plays right now. And if you'd rather put your money in this than going all the way back to Sun and Moon era, which some people are doing right now, which I think is fine, by the way. I said like middle of last year, I thought Unified Minds was very undervalued. Just by looking at like the loose pack price of the booster boxes, the booster boxes were very undervalued, and it just makes sense that finally some of these sets are indeed moving. So that's a good sign, in my opinion. But that's really all I wanted to talk about in this video, guys. Is just I know it's boring for some people to go all the way back and look at this, and again, everyone's really normally interested in the newest stuff that's going on, but we can learn lessons over the past 3 to 4 years and see what happened during the last crash and how people kind of reacted to that. And especially like if you're looking at something like Team Up, wherever it is over here, almost $1,200 before the crash, came back down to a low of under $1,000, right? Within a few months, it was already back up to all-time highs. Like the same thing is going to happen with Evolving Skies. Like end of January, it was up there, pulled back. Eventually, we're going to see this push through again. I think this is going to be a $2,000 box fairly quickly. I really do. Even if we see a pullback in popularity, if we see problems with the economy, the best boxes from the most popular eras, I would say in Pokemon, Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, like these really do seem like no-brainer investments that I feel very comfortable in. But again, that's just my opinion. So you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. Also, if you guys got some value out of this video, 60% of you aren't subscribed to the channel, so I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. As well, if you're doing some shopping, I have affiliate links in the description down below for eBay, Hobbiesville, TCG Player, Poke Notify as well if you guys want to get a Discord notification service. So thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.